How many times have you started a diet, felt like you were crushing it for weeks, maybe even months, then all of a sudden you fall off track? You're frustrated, you're hungry, you're tired, and to make things even worse, a couple weeks after, the weight that you lost comes right back. That's because most diets are setting you up to fail, and the mistakes that you're making aren't even your fault. Now I want you to imagine this instead. You're eating food you actually enjoy. You're seeing steady progress. You feel stronger, you feel leaner, you feel in more control of your entire journey without all the burnout, all or nothing mentality, and the starve and binge cycle that so many people go through. That's where we're heading with today's video. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Khalil, founder and creator of FitMama, where me and my wife Jazz teach women how to lose weight sustainably, build muscle, and ultimately make a lifestyle out of their health, their fitness, and their nutrition. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 most common dieting mistakes that are sabotaging your progress, why these mistakes are stopping you from losing weight, and exactly what you can do to fix them to finally see sustainable results. Look, I've coached hundreds of women inside the FitMama Club. We see these mistakes happen every day, whether it's doing crash diets, or it's eliminating entire food groups, or it's eating less than your toddler. The worst part is when you do these diets and all the weight comes back, that really stings because now you've suffered through that diet and you still end up right back at square one, which makes you feel like you lost a lot of time. But once we fix these mistakes, everything changes, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do for you here today. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to avoid these mistakes for good. You'll have a plan for how you can lose weight sustainably without starving yourself or burning out. And most importantly, you'll be able to do this without falling for another gimmick again. Mistake number 1. Cutting too many calories. So pretty much every diet that you see out there works in one simple way. They put you into a calorie deficit. So if you don't know what a calorie deficit is, in the simplest terms, it just means that you're eating less food than the amount of calories that your body's burning. For most of these diets that you see out there, the general rule of thumb is to take you down to 1,200 calories. And for most people, you'll see progress. So what these companies are doing is just throwing out a big net. Let's say 100 people land in the net. If they know 20 of you guys are gonna lose weight, then they got 20 people to lose weight, and you can attribute it to whatever diet that there is out there, and they just do this wash, rinse, and repeat. But the question they never answer is what happens after you lose the weight? If you cut right now down to 1,200 calories, most likely you will lose weight because that's a very, very low calorie amount, and it's actually the lowest recommended amount of calories for a healthy adult. So let's say you did cut down to 1,200 calories. Let's say you did lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it is. What happens after that point? And this is the question that most people don't answer for themselves because they're so hell-bent on just losing the 20 to 30 pounds. This is a question that we always ask our women immediately when they come into the FitMama Club. Let's say you do get exactly where you want to be, then what? How do we get to make you do this for the rest of your life? Which should be the goal? How can we make this a long-term fix for you? Because if you can't answer that question, no matter what diet you do or what you do to lose the weight, you're always going to end up back at square one because nothing was fixed. Nothing was really changed. You just ate less food, lost weight, and now you go back. Let's say you do go into a 1,200 calorie diet, and let's say you do lose 20 pounds, and then you fall off. In your mind, it's going to feel like, and you can put in the comments if I'm wrong, but it's going to feel like, okay, I fell off. I just need to get back to this diet so I can lose the weight again. But then you notice the second time you do it, it's much harder for you to lose the weight the second time around. What's happening in your body is your body's getting adapted to that low calorie amount. And the way that your body adapts to this low calorie amount is by getting rid of muscle. When you look at this from a metabolic perspective, when you do lose the weight, if you have less muscle now, you also have less ability to burn calories. So when that rebound does happen and you do fall off and you do gain that weight back, now the second time when you go to try and lose the weight, you have less muscle than you started with, which is why it's so much harder that second time, third time, fourth time. The easier way to do this is to just start with a small calorie deficit and then lower it incrementally as you go, as your body plateaus. Because your body is built to plateau. It's an adaptation machine. You give it one thing, your body's just gonna adjust to what you're doing, and then it'll start to plateau like it's built to do. You should not just be jumping into a deficit if you don't know what your maintenance calories are, because then how do you know if it's too big of a deficit or if it's too small of a deficit? So you need to take some time to find out what your baseline calories are. The easiest way for you to do this is just take something like a MyFitnessPal, Noom, LifeSum, any of these trackers that there is out there, and just track what you're eating. You don't have to make any big changes. You don't have to change anything. Just track what you've been eating so you know where exactly am I starting from. We get a lot of women who say they're eating 1,200 and then they go through this process and they track and you find out that you're at 3,500 on a weekly basis. That person, is very easy for us to make this small deficit, right? Because let's say you do find out that you're eating 3,500 on average. Now, if we take that from 3,500 and we drop it down to 3,000, now you're gonna lose about a pound per week and you're still eating 3,000 calories. Approaching it this way allows you to see what the real numbers are first and make small adjustments versus making this huge overhaul to your entire, I gotta starve myself now, right? Because just like I said before, if your body's used to getting 3,500 calories and you drop down to 1,200, your body is gonna feel like it's starving because it's getting a third of the calories it was getting to begin with. That's where the cravings for things like sugars and all the fast food and all these things start to pop up, because those are going to give you the most calories in one shot, and your body's like, hey, we need the calories, right? That's what you told us. We need this. An easier way to do it is just simply do the 300 to 500 calorie deficit and make sure you stair step your way down and just make it a slow deficit so you can break through those plateaus. Point number 2, I kind of mentioned it already in that one. And most women we find have this issue is not having enough protein. It's more important, actually. A lot of people equate protein to trying to build muscle, but it's actually more important when you're in a cut for the reasons like I mentioned before. When you're in a cut, you want to make sure that everything you do is around optimizing for being in a deficit, but also for making sure that you're keeping as much muscle on your body as possible. This is where the big confusion is when a woman will lose weight and then she's super frustrated and confused because now she's just skinny fat. Let's say you had one person that is 100 pounds and you have one person that is 200 pounds. Let's say they both have 20 pounds of fat. A 100-pound person with 20 pounds of fat is gonna be 20% body fat. A 200-pound person with 20 pounds of body fat is only going to be 10% body fat. The person that's 200 pounds is going to have abs. The person that is 100 pound is going to look more fluffy. So this game about trying to get lean is about body fat percentage. It's not always about what the scale says. The reason why I bring this up is because if you can optimize for protein, when you are losing weight, you can keep that muscle on your body and strip away the fat that's on top of the muscles. And that's what makes you lean and toned and defined. For a lot of women that I talk to, they come in, to the club and they're like, I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to lose 30 pounds, whatever. Because I've gone through this so many times, I can just look at their height and where their weight at and be like, you don't have to actually lose 40 pounds to get to where you want to go. We've had this happen. 5'2", 130 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds. Where does that leave you? At 5'2", 110 pounds? Absolutely not. I will never take you to 110 pounds at 5'2". For me, that's just an unhealthy way to be. I'm not going to put you in that situation. So then I would ask, okay, what's the look that you're going for? Oh, I want to be more athletic. I want to be more lean. I want to be more toned. Okay, so if we were at 130 pounds and you were lean and athletic and toned, would you be happy or would you still want to go down to 110? Oh, I think I'd be happy with that. Okay, cool. So let's adjust our goals for what you actually want to look like and for what you want to build versus what the scale is telling us. The only way we can do that is by having enough protein in our meals so that we can, number one, build enough muscle. But number two, when we do go into a cut, we can maintain that muscle that we built. It's also going to make it much, much easier for us when we come out of our cut and get back to maintenance, which is very, very underrated when it comes to this entire journey. It's called maintenance because that's how you're going to maintain your progress. So after a cut, you need to get back up to maintenance so that you don't rebound and go into a calorie surplus. If you're somewhere around your goal weight, we always give a marker as if you're under 30 pounds away from your goal weight, shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. If you're over 30 pounds from your goal weight, shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of confusion, like how the hell am I supposed to get 130 grams of protein? Very, very easily, right? Let's just say you had, for ease of numbers, let's just say you had 120 grams of protein you had to hit. You're just going to divide 120 by 4. You're going to get 30. Any protein shake you find out there is going to be somewhere between 20 to 30 grams. So now you throw one of those in the mix. You got 3 simple meals and a protein shake. There you go. You got 120 grams of protein. The third one that is typically throwing people off track when it comes to their fitness journey and sabotaging their own progress, really, is what this one comes down to, is The all or nothing mentality. This is that mentality where it's like, had a bad meal for lunch, so now dinner is gonna be bad too. Tuesday was bad, so Wednesday will be bad. You get to Thursday and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna just go all for this right now. I'm gonna just make sure I get all this out of my system and I'll start again on Monday. You see people do this all the time with January 1st, right? They roll through the entire year, not giving a shit, and then all of a sudden January 1st comes and they're like, you know what? Now's the time, now I'm gonna get it. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be 100% perfect every single time in order to see progress. Matter of fact, you can be 80% and still see plenty of progress. One of the things that we like to tell our women inside the club is never miss 2 in a row. If Thursday was a shit show, okay, fine. Accept it for what it is. We can get back to it on Friday. And we will still have 6 days out of the week where we crush it. You don't have to go through this journey thinking you need to be everybody that you see on Instagram. The reality of the situation is, if you weren't working out before and you're working out once a week right now, awesome. You're crushing it. Now, at some point, would I say, let's push to 2 times a week? Absolutely, I will. But it doesn't have to be everything all at once, all the time. Let's say the kids are up and you're supposed to do a workout and everything wasn't going right throughout the day and you just couldn't find the time to get a whole hour to go in and do your workout. Did you have 15 minutes? Could you go in and break that workout down into smaller chunks? There's a lot of different ways that you can make this work for yourself where it doesn't have to be your version of perfection in order to continue to make progress. It's about being able to adapt through what the lifestyle looks like. And we work with parents, right? So we know sometimes it's a shit show. Sometimes things are not going to be perfect. Sometimes the kids are sick. Sometimes they stayed home from school. Sometimes, you got games and all these other things to do. You still have to take care of yourself. You're responsible for making yourself healthy. So you have to make sure that you approach this with a mindset of, this is what I have and this is what's in front of me. How can I still get what I need in order to continue to take that one step forward? So to bring it full circle, that's why I said we focus on in the club, never miss 2 in a row. Because if we miss one and we don't miss that second one, now we're automatically back into building positive momentum. And we can continue to see progress in doing things that way. The 4th thing is relying on cardio for weight loss. I don't know at what point in life where cardio became the thing that was directly correlated to losing weight. Cardio is burning calories on manual, whereas strength training is burning calories on automatic. When you do cardio, you are physically asking your body to burn calories. Let's say you're on the treadmill, right? Let's say you run for 20 minutes. Let's say you burned 200 to 300 calories. That 200, 300 calories is gonna create a deficit for you. Let's say you were the person, like we talked about in the beginning, that was eating the 3,500 calories. Now you add in cardio to the mix. You're gonna subtract that 300 calories that you did on the cardio machine from the 3,500. That's gonna create a small deficit for you, which is why you'll see weight loss in the beginning. Eventually, your body's gonna stop losing weight doing that 20 minutes of cardio. And in your mind, you're gonna think, if I did 20 minutes and I lost 5 pounds, I gotta bump it up to 40 minutes now to lose more weight. But you have to keep doing this in order to see progress. But here's the trap. Let's say you built this and you kept building it up to the point where you're doing 90 minutes of cardio, an hour and a half. And let's say throughout this entire process, you've lost 30 pounds now. What do you think's gonna happen if you stop doing that cardio, the 90 minutes of cardio a day? Because now nothing else changed. You're still eating the same amount of calories. We talked about 3,500 before. You are instantly in a calorie surplus now. You're gonna climb back up to that weight very, very quickly. But here's what else is happening. During this process, you are shedding muscle faster than you can even believe, because if you have a lot of muscle on your body, you're gonna burn a lot of calories doing 90 minutes of cardio. But your body's gonna adapt by trying to become more efficient at the activity that you're asking it to do, which is cardio. Hey, I wanna do cardio for 90 minutes. So your body's gonna slowly but surely start to adjust for doing 90 minutes of cardio. And the way it's gonna do this is by stripping away muscle from your body, because now it can burn less calories doing the same 90 minutes of cardio, which is why you found that you plateaued when you were doing that first 20 minutes of cardio. And this is why you see marathon runners running around and they don't have a lot of muscle on their body. They're basically skin and bones. If someone like me were to go out and run a marathon and try and do it at the time that they did it in, it's gonna take me a ton of calories and a ton of energy to do that. But the reason why they have such endurance is because they're very, very efficient at burning those calories. They're burning a lot less doing that activity. Strength training is gonna work the opposite, because strength training is teaching your body to do this automatically versus being on manual. Because if you take the same concept that I just told you, if we put more muscle onto your body, now your body has the ability to burn more calories. It actually becomes inefficient at burning calories. If we have more calories on our body, your body becomes a fat burning machine. If you were still eating that 3,500 calories and we've built a bunch of muscle during that time, now your body's going to be built to match that 3,500 calories because it's going to adapt, right? It's going to continue to adapt and make those adaptations. Now, 3,500 calories is an extreme example for a woman, but somebody like me, I eat 3,500 calories very, very easily, and I'm able to stay lean year round. We want to make sure that we're bringing the amount of muscle up to match our lifestyle. So if you take Jasmine, for example, my wife, when we first started working together, her maintenance calories were about 1,400. Now, at a point in our journey when she was very, very into powerlifting, we were trying to get thick, we got her all the way up to 2,800 calories for maintenance, which means that she wasn't gaining weight anymore at that amount. She was about 135 pounds at the time, very, very, very strong at that time, but she was also very, very lean at that time because we were trying to get strong, we're trying to put on muscle. I say that to say, like, we shouldn't be focusing on cardio for weight loss because you're going to be trapped to always doing that amount of cardio. If you don't do that amount of cardio, you're just going to gain the weight back. It becomes much, much easier for the women that we talk to and for doing this long term to have that muscle on your body and add strength training into the routine so that your metabolism can work with you instead of against you. And the last one is a quick one. It's falling for all of the quick fixes, juice cleanses, detoxes, fad diets, all the things that are just tricking you by taking away the water weight in the beginning and ultimately just leaving you feeling tired and miserable and hating the entire experience. These are the things that you're doing where it's like, I can't wait for it to be over. Like, I'm gonna do this juice cleanse, but I can't wait to get back to eat. I'm gonna do Herbalife, or I'm gonna do Optavia for 2 months, 3 months, and then I can't wait to get back to eating regular food again. These things are never gonna be a permanent fix because they're just a quick, like, they're not relying on any habits or anything you can do for the rest of your life. That is the first question that we ask when someone is coming in, is like, what do you want to do long term with this? Like, to hell with the 20, 30 pounds. Like, what do you really want long term out of this? You have to come into your fitness journey with the mindset of, I want to do this for the rest of my life, and I don't really care how long it takes, as long as I'm making progress. Because if you can do it that way and you're not in such a rush, you can get progress that's actually gonna stick around, and it's actually gonna make a difference because now you have the habits, you have the knowledge, you have the routine in place, you know how to switch things up. That's what doing this for the long term is gonna look like versus, hey, I wanna make this gone as fast as possible. We had a woman come into our program who was in a different program that promised her that she was gonna lose 20 pounds in 4 weeks. And this program told her specifically, do not track your meals. Just eat what I tell you, don't track anything. This particular woman was very hard-headed, still hard-headed, but she said, I'm gonna track my meals anyway. And what she found was that they were having her eat about 500 calories a day. What happened at this amount was she started to lose hair, she lost her period, she wasn't able to get pregnant, she had very brittle nails, she had a lot of things that were going on inside her body that were signals that, hey, this calorie amount is way too low, but she was so desperate to lose the weight. And she did lose the weight in the amount of time that they said that she was gonna lose it. But again, what happens after that? You want to lose these 20 pounds and keep them gone. Let's say you wanted to lose 24 pounds. I know that sounds exact, but let's say you wanted to lose 24 pounds. You have one program that's promising you're going to lose these 24 pounds in 5 weeks. And then you have another program that's telling you, hey, we're gonna lose this 24 pounds this year. It might take us all year, but we're gonna lose the 24 pounds all year. Don't be the person that's gonna do it lose 24 pounds in 5 weeks, because you're gonna end up right back at those 24 pounds, right? Now, this other side, if you lost a half a pound a week over the course of 52 weeks, about 26 pounds, losing only a half a pound a week. And this is a common thing that we always see. Like, you step on the scale and it's like, oh, I only lost a half a pound. Good, half a pound is great. That's great progress. If you continue to do that, you're gonna get everywhere you wanna be. Half a pound a week is a great rate to go because you're gonna be getting stronger, your metabolism is gonna be intact, you're gonna build a lot of muscle, you're gonna feel relatively good, you're not gonna be starving, you're not gonna have your energy super depleted. There's a lot of benefits to going at that rate. But the key thing that I want you to focus on, and what I tell our women to focus on, is not only did you lose the 24 pounds, but if it took you an entire year, you kept 24 pounds off for an entire year versus this other option that had you lose it in 5 weeks and then gain it back in 5 weeks. And now you have 42 weeks for the rest of the year to deal with this 24 pounds that you were trying to get rid of. So which way do you feel like is the best way to lose the weight that you're looking to lose? So now that you know exactly what has been holding you back, now it's time to finally go out there and take action on it. But if you want to take action on this with us, you can join the FitMama Club down in the description. Inside there, we have our meal plans available for you. We teach you everything that I went over here today, but also we do calls with you guys on a weekly basis to make sure you can ask any questions. Our goal is to make sure that you learn this stuff like the back of your hand. We don't want to be coaching anybody forever, but we want to make sure that you guys have the knowledge necessary to keep your results for life. So again, that'll be down in the description below. And don't forget to like this video if you found this video helpful so that more people like you can find this video. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button. So I'll see you guys next time.